Hello, Americans. Welcome back to Fixing America. For our kids, how much is too much information? I always thought that sex education in high schools was simply, this is what you have, and this is how it works, and if you're going to use it, this is how to protect yourself from pregnancy and disease. I was shocked to find out that in my kids' high school, it goes way beyond that. They not only teach the basics, but now they are showing pictures that can only be described as porn. Photos of genitals being used for various ways of giving and receiving pleasure. And not just heterosexual, there's homosexual and even transgender instruction with pictures. I believe kids need to know from a very early age the difference between boys and girls. I have always given my kids as much information as I think they can understand about sexuality. Consequently, they usually know more about reproduction than most other kids their age. They know the how-tos and the dangers, physical and emotional, of having sex. It is the parents, not the schools, that should be educating kids regarding sex, because it is not just the medical and social implications that count. Every family has their own moral and religious beliefs when it comes to sex. If we want our kids to be knowledgeable and responsible when it comes to sex, they need to know how it applies to their own most important circle of support. One of the other problems with the way sex is presented in the high schools is that you are putting a group of highly curious and sexually charged boys and girls in the same room, showing them pictures of each other's private parts, showing them how to put on a condom, etc. How can you expect this to have good results? It's like giving a 10-year-old driving lessons and saying that it would be great if you don't drive the car, but in case you decide to drive, here's an extra set of keys. Despite all you hear about high school students who are sexually active, there are still a lot of virgins graduating every year. I think these classes do nothing but confuse them. Students themselves complain about the classes being too graphic and say that the teachers seem to be encouraging experimentation. This is probably why a lot of groups have sprung up at high schools that try to counter what's being taught in the school's sex ed classes. These groups' members make a written pledge to remain a virgin until marriage. Of course, there are students who start having sex at very early ages. But what about those who don't want to, and don't want to hear about or be encouraged to do it until they're ready? Now the University of Hawaii is pushing a program for middle schoolers that is very controversial. The new sex education program wants to teach 11-year-olds about virtually every sexual deviation possible, saying that they need to know the facts. Even middle school nurses in Hawaii are trying to block the new program. Being 11, 12, or 13 years old is complicated enough without having someone explain to you about sexual things you don't even want to know about. The curriculum is reported to even explain to these little children who don't even have pubic hair how the doctors can perform operations to make a boy into a girl or vice versa. The course tells them how heterosexuals and homosexuals have sex, what goes where, having abortions, etc. Way too much information for most preteens. Take a look at sex education in your children's schools. Find out what they are teaching that you didn't know they're teaching. It is up to parents to educate and protect our children, sometimes from their school. God bless America.